Peace and blessings. Keep up the lessons. You know how this is. Crypto B-Boy coming at you. Yeah, so I have to kind of address things, man. You know, being that I happen to be a Muslim, you know, which in turn, that makes me a very religious person. As they say, religion. We have our faith. We just practically implement it every day of our life. It's a way of life for us. But, you know, if you want to categorize somebody in belief in religion, then, you know, yeah, we're strong religious people. But, you know, basically in relation to the crypto, in relation to the stable coin, which is the main thing that I'm focusing on right now in this address that I'm doing. And I'm addressing those who are people who are putting out a lot of FUD. It's like trending on social media, like with especially YouTube. I've seen like maybe 2 channels, and even shout outs to Wendy O. She made some good point. You know, she was bringing the cons of the Genius Act, but basically her point of view to me was basically, and you know, no disrespect intended, of course, at all. You know, she brought some good points, but it's more in line with the understanding of those of us who are investing into this industry, which is the blockchain, fintech company industry, you know, crypto creation and so forth, right? But the markets as an investor are totally different in a sense, because the people who are developers and users and so forth, for the technology is concerned, they have a different mindset of approaching this, right? We as investors, like myself included, are there for the money, pretty much. Basically, that's the main reason. So in relation to also with that, it has its own little sides where you can be entering it on a more decentralized basis, from a basis where you're going to have to off-ramp into a centralized environment, meaning that the traditional financial system, that's all there it's about. We know that already. This is why Bitcoin or blockchain and so forth came to be, because to get away from that and to give human beings, you know, options of how to be able to have, you know, ownership of their wealth more, and being able to maneuver it, distribution of the wealth, and to transact without any, you know, where it would be permissionless. You know, no one trying to make you do this, do that, you have to pay this, you can't pay that, you got to wait for this time, you know, times of settlement for banks and so forth, right? We know of this. So basically, that's where people's mindsets should be, or actually we should understand and take into consideration that people are approaching this differently with different mindsets, and according to their situation, according to how and what they're doing in relation to this crypto space, right? So the religious perspective is what I was starting with, has become very extreme to me. Okay, that's just my point of view and my perspective. That they are going a little bit too far and bringing up scenarios and narratives that this is like a dystopian type of, everything is like dystopian with the crypto stablecoin, especially right now, which is trending in the news. It's very, very controversial. You know, the Genius Act, if we get more specific, right? The Genius Act, which is basically from Congress, passed through the Senate, then it got signed into law. That's basically giving stablecoins legislation, regulatory clarity of how stablecoins are going to be used, how they will be able to be, you know, created, all these things. Not to get into the details too much, because I'm driving, you know, don't have much time to get into that. I don't have a book in front of me like Wendy O had 5 days ago when she was in her bed doing it and, you know, bringing some of her points. But basically, we got to understand that as far as the religious perspective, then I'm going to deal real quick, you know, considering the time for this video, that the religious perspective, you got to have proof. And you know, as Muslims, you know, a lot of them are people who are into the Hebrew Israelite community, Yahweh, just like that, right? They believe in Yahweh and so forth, which is God in the same, with a different name and different Hebrew Israelite type of term and usage, right? And within the Torah even. So basically, in Islam, we believe that, and I'm bringing my perspective because I am a peace person, Muslim. I am, on quotes, categorized as a religious person. So I'm bringing the perspective of Islam. We know in Islam that money is not the root of all evil. Some people come with that mindset, right? They bring that to the table when they get into these discussions and these dystopian discussions about money and the evil of it. And it's not the evil of the money. The money was created maybe with some mindsets to control and things like this or whatever, and had some centralized mentality of people, only certain people will control. But from the beginning, from where it started started off the basis of value. We should know that. Something of value, distribution of value, bartership, and then 1 and 2, where we have fiat currency, and now we're going into digital. So money is not the root of all evil. Money is not the main issue. It's the people behind the money. So everybody's not evil in the usage of money. Everybody's not wanting to create a dystopian type of rulership or life to come in for people, and based on biblical revelation, okay? Or like with the Quran, the same with the revelation. We believe in the Quran as being the last and final revelation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to Prophet Muhammad. So, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, peace and blessing be upon him. So we have our perspective, and our perspective is that as long as you do what's right with this money, whether it's fiat, whether it was before that it was gold, precious metals, whether before that it was shells, and now today going into a digital form, right? It doesn't matter. Whoever's using it is what matters. So you have to bring proof that the stable coin is based on an evil basis. It's based on biblical revelation, and you're trying to connect it or bring it to where it goes along with some of the verses in the Bible or verses in the Torah. And even for us Muslims to try to interpret the verses in the Quran, which is totally we don't try to do, unlike the Quranists do. We're not going to talk about them, these people who are Quran onlys and all that, and they want to just take from the Quran. They don't take from the Prophet's his interpretations and his companions. No, but basically you try to interpret on your own and from the Quran that this is applied to these usage of these coins, the stable coins, and then we'll get into the crypto as well, like certain particular cryptos that are digital ledger technologies like XRP, XDC, HBAR, and the likes, XLM, and on, right? ISO 222 compliant coins. No, there's no. If you don't find a clear relation, concise relation to that this is an evil setup, this is a conspiracy, then leave it alone and stay out of it. Leave that out of the narrative. Keep the narrative that, yeah, the government, they have some people in the governments all over the world, they have elitists that want to do certain things and can continue to keep control. So they want to create control mechanisms to be able to control the digital currencies that are coming into play as well. Yeah, we know this. That can happen to any one of them. They all do this. Kings and queens and people who are in rulership, they have corrupted and they've been corrupt. They're tyrants. We've known this, right? But the point I'm saying is that this religious issue, there's religious issues that do have something to do with what's going on in the systems that are taking place, but we can't all put it and apply it to every aspect of these digital assets, digital currencies, cryptocurrency, blockchain technology. We shouldn't do this. So as far as with the stable coin, many people have to do more research, and you got to realize that everything that has to do with stable coin does not apply something of negative that is going to be decentralized. And so it's going to take away and put a damper on decentralization, like for instance, dealing with decentralized finance, DeFi, and the likes of these, like Wendy O had alluded to. So we got to do other research to know, and also it depends on how you're going to be using stable coins. What is it going to do for you? Like some people want to just be off ramping into it and being able to transact their money. And there's going to be plenty of other companies and so forth coming to try to come out with their own stable coins that people can be able to make payments and buy products. Okay, so don't take it too much this way. Be more open-minded, do your own due diligence, and search and find. Peace and blessings. This is Crypto B-Boy. I'm out. Thanks for listening.